Welcome to my PowerPoint presentation on why Haywire is a bad perk in Dead by Daylight. Haywire causes any exit gate with more than 80% progress to begin regressing at 100% the default opening speed. While a gate is regressing, the lights on top of the switch flicker to indicate regression. The ability to regress exit gates was an effect that was wanted by the community for a long time. Now, I'm not exactly a DBD historian, so I can't speak to the general consensus on things, but I believe this went as far back as the original release of Freddy Krueger: The Nightmare. You see, Krueger's perks were all endgame perks. Notably, Blood Warden was a well-known perk that gave rise to the strategy of 99ing the exit gates. Blood Warden worked by blocking the exit gates when a survivor was hooked while the gates were open. However, by not fully opening the gates, survivors could circumvent this effect. Additionally, 99ing the exit gates prevented the start of the endgame collapse, giving survivors more time to coordinate a save. As time went on, Blood Warden became less common, most likely due to new perks being introduced that were less gimmicky and more reliable. Additionally, the community has broadly grown to understand that leaving gates 99 can result to the killer securing another down if an injured survivor is being chased and no gate has been opened. As a result, needing to 99 an exit gate is less common than it used to be. That is not to say that Haywire is without its own problems. For one, the 80% threshold means that it only takes 4 seconds for a survivor to open a gate. This is a pretty small window to interrupt an exit being opened and doesn't give you much leeway in stopping it again. Even so, the counter to the perk is to simply open the exit gates. While this does trigger endgame collapse, this generally isn't enough pressure to recoup if all 4 survivors are still alive. And if there are fewer than that, there's a chance that they'll just bail. This does require other perks to support Haywire to maximize its effects. However, this has some dire implications. Haywire used to have a lower threshold at 50% progression, with the regression speed being half of what it currently is. It was nerfed from this version to what is currently due to one particular build. Singularity could essentially hold a game hostage because of his ability to monitor the exit gates with his biopods. The build consisted of Haywire and other endgame perks like Terminus and Remember Me to make the exit gates incredibly difficult to open while also causing survivors to be permanently injured. This was essentially the Skull Merchant 3-gen problem all over again. As a result, behavior nerfed Haywire to reduce the potency of this strategy. Haywire needs a buff, but because of the Singularity strategy, there needs to be some limitation on the perk to prevent it from running rampant. I did consider the idea of turning it into a Hex totem, but I do fear that Singularity could still guard the totem and put us back to the original problem. With that in mind, the only other reasonable solution would be to set Haywire on a timer. Now, when a survivor interacts with an exit gate, Haywire triggers its effects for up to 3 minutes. While active, any and all progression on a door is lost at the same speed it was gained. This is a sizable buff, making it far easier to interrupt doors and more likely for the perk to make a noticeable difference. I think 3 minutes is enough time to grant opportunity for value, but breaks the Singularity strategy. Survivors can simply lay low until Haywire's effects dissipate, increasing their odds of survival. Thanks for watching, leave a like and put your thoughts in the comments below.